I got a few things to say before we get into the reading. So welcome once more to Creative Life Spiritual Center's rendition of the daily guides from the Science of Mind magazine, but also more today. I almost made a separate broadcast about this morning. The other day, one of our members at our spiritual center, aka church, if you like, was talking about her visit to the neurologist. I'm not going to mention names because I don't think that would be fair. And she said that when they showed her the picture of her brain, it was all lit up like a Christmas tree. And the neurologist had no explanation for it. Well, it turns out she found out later that at that moment when they were taking the scan of her brain, a bunch of people were actually praying for her at that very moment. And I thought it was significant. I thought, shall I mention it on my broadcast or not? And then I thought, yeah, why not? But then today, in our little room, or it's called a bathroom here, it's called a toilet in Europe, we have this little book, Every Day is a Blessing. And I was reading from it and came across this quote by Alfred Lord Tennyson, which said, "More things are wrought by prayer than this world dreams of, whereof like thy voice rise like a fountain for me, night and day." And that thing that, to me, anyway, that was confirmation that I should talk about this. I should mention it. And then it dawned on me that Hamlet had actually kind of said something similar to Horatio. You know, Shakespeare's Hamlet. I had to study it when I was at school. I'm sure a bunch of you did also. And in Act 1, Scene 5, he says, "There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt of in your philosophy." In other words, the human mind doesn't know everything. Why did her brain light up like a Christmas tree when people were praying for her? The answer is we don't know. We don't know a scientific or an answer for that. But if you're a spiritually minded person, then you will just think, wow, the prayers light up the brain. Yes, the prayers did light up the brain, but why and how? We don't know. Maybe someday there'll be a scientific explanation for it, but it's another confirmation that in some way, shape, or form, we're all connected. We're all connected to each other. There is nothing in this universe, I don't think, or I believe that everything in this universe is connected. There's nothing that is not connected. So in some way, shape, or form, every single thing is connected and everything influences everything else, which is why when we think and feel, we should be careful, because if we're thinking things and feeling things, and we all do, we're human beings, that aren't exactly conducive to the forward movements of our race and our world, then we should stop ourselves and just convert it to something else. Because if it is really true, and it would appear that it is true, then we need to change. Today's reading is called Live a Bold Life. I want to prefix this because when I read this, and I almost always, 999 times out of 1,000, I pre-read the readings. And when I was reading this, I thought, well, this reading is geared just for people who know something at least about New Thought or involved in New Thought philosophy. But not everybody who watches this broadcast, excuse me, is involved in New Thought. So interpret this in your own way, because this is intended primarily for people who are involved in New Thought. Don't not listen to it because of that, but just remember, I'm putting that at the front end. The first quote applies to anybody. It's a samurai maxim, the famous warriors. The person who has attained mastery of an art reveals it in their every action. The person who has attained mastery of an art reveals it in their every action, and that's whether it's a martial art or it's any kind of art, or it's writing, communicating with people, whatever. It's all art. And Ernest Thomas, it's a pretty long quote actually, from Living Without Fear on page 21 says, each of us has a unique individualization of the infinite is complete. No two people look alike, act alike, or think alike. No two faces have the same expression. Our fingerprints are different. The emotional reactions of each are distinct and individual. All this in order that individuality may not be lost in the great shuffle of life. That which made all things would not be a creative something if its creations were monotonous repetitions. So that was Holmes' opinion. This is what Reverend Raymond says. To live a bold life, we must have balance. Living out of balance in many respects is similar to living out of integrity, out of alignment with our spiritual magnificence, or if you want to say out of integrity with our belief system, whatever that belief system is, and therefore the truth of our being. We must give from the overflow and no longer give or live from the fumes of our energy reserves. We must love in a transformative manner. Yes, we say we do this. Well, some of us do. Yes, I'm going to change it. Yes, if you say you do this, be honest with yourself and know that there are many things within the scope of New Thought and other philosophers, which I added, who talk about love, and yet their love is transactional. Even their love of self is transactional and conditional, and put the emphasis really on conditional. Almost all human love is conditional by its very nature. In fact, some people would say that human beings at this level of existence aren't capable of unconditional love because there's always some reason for giving that love. A bold life demands that we be the embodiment of dedication. What does he mean by this? He says, are we dedicated to a world that works for all? If so, then there should be evidence of this dedication. When someone is dedicated to their art as visual artist, their musical craft, poet, chef, educator, parents, and so forth, the manner in which they live, move and have their being is a testament to their dedication and conviction. When someone says that a person is the epitome of some quality, what does this mean? Are we ready to be the epitome of what it means to be bold, B-O-L-D? Ready to embody with certitude what it means to be a living embodiment of science of mind. Now, that obviously is specifically aimed at science of mind. If you're not a science of mind person, change it. Are you willing to be the embodiment of whatever is your belief system? Are you ready to live up to your belief system? Whether that's spiritual, it's humanistic, whatever it is. Do we live that embodiment in an holistic and, he says, do we say, trauma-informed manner? A manner that is applicable, relevant, and beneficial to all, and not just the privileged few. You could summarize this by saying, whatever your philosophy in life is, put your money where your mouth is. But he is emphasizing that this message is directly aimed at people who are in favor of a world that works for everyone. And if that kind of philosophy doesn't work for you, well, you probably aren't one who really takes in what we're saying in these readings. But if you're somebody who believes that it's our job as human beings to help each other at whatever level, then this applies to you. And I'm expanding it out to say it doesn't just apply to people in Science of Mind, it doesn't just apply to people in New Thought. It applies to anybody, everywhere, who is in support of helping other human beings and helping the world be a better place. And I'm hoping that that applies to anyone and everyone who watches this transmission. He's given us an affirmation. You can change it to suit yourself. Today, my conviction is to live in a bold manner. Today, my conviction to live in a bold manner is evidenced by everything that I do, or all that I do. Today, my conviction to live in a bold manner is evidenced by all that I do and all that I do. Change it whichever way you want. So, in other words, live an authentic life in accordance with your belief system. And I wish people would write these readings so that it can apply to anybody and not just a select few. You know, Reverend Raymond has got lots of wonderful ideas. I've spoken to him. He's a great person. I really respect him. I just wish in this instance he made it a bit broader ranging, or maybe he thought, well, whoever reads it will interpret that for themselves, or whoever reads it out loud will interpret that in this way. That's really all I've got to say for today. I really appreciate being able to do these readings. I hope that whoever watches and listens to them gets something out of them. And I really wish all of you would do two things. One, give us a like, and also give us some feedback. It's really good to get feedback. So until next time, take care of yourselves, which is where it all begins, and then move it out from there. Until next time, Reverend Lisa will be on tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Central Time, and I'll be back tomorrow evening, hopefully at 5 p.m. So until then, namaste.